is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me right here on Outside the Brand. This is your AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming post show for December 14th, 2022. I'm your host, Phil. And of course, this is Outside the Brand. Thank you so much for joining me right here on your Wednesday nights, wherever you may be. Guys, tonight's AEW Dynamite was probably one of the most it was probably one of the best produced AEW Dynamites in 2022 easily, mainly because of the fact that the show flowed really well tonight. The pacing of the show was just absolutely top notch, and everything about the show bled into one another in just a nice and concise format. I loved everything about tonight. Everything about tonight was just absolutely fantastic from the beginning of the show with the trios match with the Elite and Death Triangle to the main event of Ricky Starks versus MJF for not only just the AEW World Championship, but the Dynamite Diamond Ring as well. It was just a beautiful, well thought out episode of AEW Dynamite tonight, and we got a ton to go over for the AEW Dynamite post show tonight on Outside the Brand. Now, yes, before everybody comes into the comments and says, "Did you hear about Mandy Rose? Did you hear about Mandy Rose?" I did. I did. And we will be having an OTB extra tomorrow on the entire situation. I'm going to be getting everything that I need to get down. That way I can come on in here and talk to you guys for about an hour about the situation, give you guys my full thoughts on it all and everything like that. We're going to come here. We're going to talk about the Mandy Rose situation, knowing that she got fired by WWE today after everything that happened last night on NXT when she lost the NXT Women's Championship to Roxanne Perez. Now we were on Outside the Brand last night doing an NXT post show, which we rarely do. We haven't done that in years, honestly, on OTB. We haven't done that in quite some time in NXT review, and the one time we do an NXT review, it was when Roxanne Perez won the NXT Women's Championship, and now we kind of understand why, mainly because now Mandy Rose is gone from the company. She got fired, but that doesn't take away from what she legitimately did. In 1 year, she not only was the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, won the Breakout Tournament, won the uh, won the NXT Women's Tag Team titles all in that 1 year, plus winning that World Championship for the women's on NXT. But it all just came down to the fact that now Mandy Rose is gone from the company, and we will be talking about that all tomorrow on Outside the Brandon and OTB Extra. But guys, that's not what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming. From tonight's episode, MJF and Ricky Starks, they put on an absolute banger of a match. It was an absolutely awesome experience seeing those guys just go at it. The future of AEW in the palm of their hands for the next 10 plus years in the middle of the ring, killing it tonight. And Brian Danielson coming out to basically aid Ricky Starks after his heartbreaking loss to MJF. And now it looks like Brian Danielson is not done by him, not done by a long shot when it comes to MJF. He wants that AEW World Championship. And in the wake after everything that he did to William Regal, and now Regal is no longer within AEW. So we got a lot of, just great moments here and there between it all tonight on AEW. Uh, and we haven't even talked about Action Andretti. Action Andretti was brought in as a jobber to Chris Jericho's match tonight. And Action Andretti won. He fucking won against Chris Jericho, an 8-time world champion, a guy that's been in the business for over 30 plus years, and he won. Action Andretti is now officially all elite. I thought I had the graphic on here, but apparently I do not. Um, Let me actually get the graphic for you guys because this deserves to be shown on the stream. And yeah, we're gonna be showing it off to you guys right now because this, my friends, is just absolutely, absolutely incredible stuff. Action Andretti is officially all elite. Check this out. It's incredible. It's incredible seeing a guy who is only 24 years old get a shot, get the shot of a lifetime against an 8-time world champion and Chris Jericho, a man that's been in the business for 30 plus years, been there, done that, done the whole damn thing, and now he's officially all elite. The crowd was incredibly behind him tonight, didn't it? Nobody expected Action Andretti to win, right? Nobody expected him to win. But once the whole, you know, 2 minutes of how usually a jobber match goes, usually once it goes past the 2 minutes, we were all thinking, what the fuck is actually gonna happen here? He was incredible throughout the entire match. Jericho was allowing him to get his shit in, and it was a running shooting star press that actually got him the victory tonight. And man, it was just an incredible sight to see. That is what pro wrestling is all about. When you see the growth of somebody go through it day in and day out, grinding, doing their thing, paying their dues, and then when they get the opportunity of a lifetime going on AEW Dynamite, getting the recognition that they deserve, and getting the spot that they have worked so hard for, and then actually cashing in and winning that opportunity, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than that. And I absolutely loved every second of it. We don't know what's to come now. I definitely I compared it to, and if you guys follow me on Twitter, I compared it to the 1-2-3 Kid versus Razor Ramon on like that old school Monday Night Raw as WWF style type of a matchup there. Like it just felt so real. The emotion of it all, the shock factor, just everything about it culminated into an absolutely amazing moment. And that kid has an incredible future ahead of him. He is going to be a star in the making. That's a signing that AEW should be looking out for. That's a signing that AEW should be cashing in on regardless. A lot of people give AEW crap mainly because they just sign everybody under the fucking sun. But this signing right here with Action Andretti made 100% sense. And you get that kid under an AEW contract and you get him some exposure on television. No doubt about it. And that is exactly why Tony Khan signed him tonight. That's exactly why he did it, mainly because he knows what this kid can bring to the table. And he just has a ton of potential. And those people in the back, like Jericho, like Brian, like Claudio, like basically anybody that is a huge veteran in that locker room, can teach the kid and actually get him to where he needs to be. He's already a great in-ring performer. Just imagine him under the tutelage of everybody that is going to be back there for him. Obviously, Jericho saw something in him tonight, and that's why they put him in that spot instead of anybody else on that AEW roster. They put a kid from AEW Dark that's been grinding their ass off to get to where he is now, and that is an AEW contract. There's nothing left to be said. This kid is going to be something special. And that is what pro wrestling is all about. Incredible stuff there. Also tonight on AEW Dynamite, we had the Trios um, Championship Best of 7 series between the Elite and Death Triangle. Death Triangle at the time led 2-1. Now they lead 3-1. That's right. Death Triangle beat the Elite once again on AEW Dynamite tonight. Now they're in a 3-1 lead. This is just incredible. Now, I do believe that this match right here was the weakest out of the four that have happened during the during the best of seven series so far. Not saying that it was a bad match by any means. When you have the Elite and Death Triangle go at it in a six-man tag team match, you're never really going to get a bad match out of them. But the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion here, you guys can talk amongst yourselves in the live chat here as well. But during everything and looking at the grand scheme of things when it comes to all four matches that have happened so far, this was the weakest one out of them. And again, I'm not saying that it was a bad match. It was a good match. It had a different story than the rest of the three matches that have had. But you're looking at the grand scheme of things right here, this was the weakest one, mainly because of the fact it wasn't as long as the other three were. And definitely the fact of the matter is, when it all comes down to it, the next three matches are going to have a different feeling towards them. Mainly because next week, when we have match number 5, we are going to be having a no disqualification match that became a thing after Kenny Omega got on the microphone tonight and said, you know what, screw it. Why don't we just make the hammer legal? Because that's what you guys are going to be using anyway. You guys used it again tonight. It's been the entire story throughout this entire series. So why don't we just make it legal? In fact, why don't we just make everything fucking legal and make it no disqualification? That triangle accepted. And now we have 3 matches to go. We got a no disqualification match next week. Then we have, in 2 weeks, we have the um, Falls Count Anywhere match between that triangle and the Elite. And then on January 11th, I believe so, right? I believe that's what we have going on here. On January 11th, I know the series ends. Let me take a look real quick. Alrighty. Let me take a look. Best of 7. Best of 7 series. Where's the graphic? Okay, so match number 5 happens next week in San Antonio, Texas, where we have a where we have the no disqualification match. Then on December 28th, so 2 weeks from now, we have the Falls Count Anywhere match in Denver, Colorado, at the First Bank Center. And then January 11th, match number 7, and it will be necessary because there's no way we're not going to 7 matches. Match number 7 at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, California, we will be having a ladder match. And the winner of that ladder match is basically going to be crowned the Undisputed Trios World Champions in AEW. So it's an incredible thing to see. It's an incredible thing to, just witness. I loved that Tony Khan wanted to do something a little bit different with this uh best of 7 series. A lot of people are kind of getting a little bit not fed up with it, but they're kind of getting a little tired, and I can see why. Because you guys want to, people want to keep this type of a matchup special between the Elite and Dead Triangle. I mean, they don't face off all that often, and then obviously they're facing each other 7 times during this best of 7 series. You want to keep something like that special, and I understand that 100%. But when it comes to the Elite and Dead Triangle, they're always going to make these matches interesting, and that's what they have been doing over the course of the 4 matches that we've had so far. And with the stipulations added to 5, 6, and 7, it is going to be that much more interesting seeing how things go when we reach January 11th at the Kia Forum. So, I do like that, and I think that everything when it comes to all of that is going to be something special. So we got things going on there, and I can't wait to see where things go from there. So it's going to be pretty cool to see. Um, and yeah, man. I mean, obviously the AEW Dynamite main event tonight was great as well. MJF and Ricky Starks, they killed it tonight. Um, it was for the AEW World Championship and the Dynamite Diamond Ring. MJF is now, for a fourth consecutive year, holding that Dynamite Diamond Ring, and that's going to be, just incredible. It just enhances MJF's character the most, and he was made for that ring, so it's great there. And obviously, he was going to retain the AEW World Championship. I mean, he just won it a couple of weeks ago, so it's not like they were really going to take it away from him. What's going on? I appreciate you guys coming on by tonight. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about it all on Dynamite tonight, and it's gonna be a great show. So strap on in, get yourself a cold beverage, get yourself a snack. We're gonna be talking about it all for at least the next hour, hour and a half. Should be a good time. So stick here on Outside the Burn for the AEW Dynamite winner is coming post show on OTB. So we started off tonight with the AEW World Trios Championship Best of 7 Series match number 4 between Death Triangle and Elite. Like I said, very good match. Very good match. I just thought it was the weakest out of the 4 that have happened so far. So, we had Omega hitting a Snapdragon uh, onto Pac. Omega on to the ropes, but Penta with a kick to the back. Omega throws Phoenix to the outside of the ring. He runs the ropes, but Pac trips him up. Pac with a diamond cutter. Pac with a kick to the face. He runs to the corner, and Omega with an elbow. Omega goes for a German suplex, but Pac lands on his feet. He then goes for a brain buster and hits it. Penta with a kick onto the ring apron. Penta with a pile driver on the ring apron. Phoenix then tagged in and hit a kick to Omega. Penta with a kick onto Omega as well. Phoenix with an inverted frog splash to Omega. He goes for the cover, but Omega kicks out the count of 2, and a very close 2 count at that. Pac then tags in. Pac with a black arrow, but Omega moves out of the way. Nick with comes walking down to the ring. He was actually in the back being attended to for a busted up ankle. But he comes walking down to the ring. Nick tags in. Nick then takes out that triangle. He goes for a super kick onto Phoenix, but the referee was distracted. Penta hit Nick with the hammer to the ankle, and Phoenix with a knee bar onto Nick Jackson, and he actually taps out. And that is how Death Triangle picked up the win. They used the hammer once again to their advantage, and that is how they got the win. Omega then grabs a microphone after the match, and Death Triangle leave the ring. Omega says that he is about and he has something to say to Death Triangle. For anyone that watches the sports, the 3-1 deficit is pretty bad. But Death Triangle uses the hammer in every single match. So next week, why don't we just make everything legal? They are sick of playing by their rules, and next week it'll be no disqualification. Good call. Good call. I think it's going to be a great way to shift momentum to the elite side, because we are basically going to be getting a 2-win streak for the elite to get it to match number 7, and then whoever wins match number 7 will be the official AEW World Trios Champions. I like it. I really do like it, and I think it's going to be a great call. Heading into match 7 at the Kia Forum on January 11th. So, good call there. MJF is backstage and he is going to be cutting a promo. He tells Starks that he finally did it. They were all rooting for him, they, including the fans. And all calling him what he did to him last week a star-making performance. But the funny part is, the first time he appeared on AEW, he was already a star. And he has hit a home run ever since. He says that he is the most talked about name in the business. He is a star maker. MJF mocks Starks and his childhood. But it doesn't matter, and the only thing that does matter is if he is the AEW World Champion. And the fans, just like him, suck. MJF says that he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was a born rich, attractive, and better than him type of a kid, and he is not apologizing for it. MJF says that he is under no pressure tonight. He is already the guy. Everyone hates him. Everyone wants to see his downfall. He is no one. He has no one to let down. But he does not envy Starks whatsoever. Everyone wants Starks to win. His mother, his family, the fans, everyone. Can he do it, or will he let everyone down? And we will find out what happens when you apply pressure to a pebble, if it will turn into a diamond or it will turn into dust. MJF is just incredible. I don't know what you want me to say. Everything that the man speaks is just incredible. Everything that this man spews out of his mouth, it's just he's just a great promo. That he's an amazing promo. There's nothing else you can really say about it. That the man just gets it. He knows what he is talking about. You know exactly what you get and bring to the table when you see MJF. That's it. That's it. The guy is just him. MJF is him. He is just that incredible of a performer. Point blank. Now we get to a match that I was just definitely not looking forward to. It's not that I wasn't looking forward to it, is that this segment right here was just completely pointless. And we will get to the reason why in just a second. So, Outcome the Acclaimed, they are rapping, they're having a good time, but they got attacked from behind by Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and Jeff Jarrett. Dutt cuts a promo asking the Acclaimed if they have their attention now. Jeff tells them to sit with this. Uh, um, and he basically just hit. I think he hit. He hit Max Caster with the guitar, and they hold the AEW World Tag Team titles. And yeah, we're getting some kind of a program between the Elite, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal. I'm not looking forward to that whatsoever. That is not what I signed up for. That is not anything of importance whatsoever. When you have the Acclaimed as AEW World Tag Team Champions and you put them against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, that just screams, get this off my television. And, and it's a terrible look, and it's a terrible booking decision. I mean, we all know the Acclaimed are going to retain. That's not the fucking problem here. The fucking problem is Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett should not be on AEW television. Jeff Jarrett should not be bringing down somebody like Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal is an incredible talent, but he's stuck to the hip of an old fuck named Jeff Jarrett. why the hell do I even care that Jeff Jarrett is on my television screen in 2022, basically 2023? I don't give a shit. I really don't. And that's just the God honest truth. So we are backstage with the JAS. Jericho tells Tony that the giant swing is barbaric. It should be banned, and he will take his frustration out on a jobber to get ready for his rematch with Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World title. He is still the Ocho, and Jericho tells Garcia that he never should have lost the Pure Championship, but with a little bit of mentorship, he can get that back. And that is why, from now on, he wants him to shadow Sammy Guevara. Garcia isn't happy, as Guevara says that he will get the win against Moxley at Rampage on Friday. So we'll see what happens on Rampage. Most likely not going to be watching that, as that's obviously just for the SmackDown post show. So we'll see you guys on Friday for that. Brian Cage took on Jack Perry. This was a pretty decent this was a pretty decent match, I think. I love Jungle Boy. I think he's great. I love Brian Cage, and I think he's fantastic as well. But this match made no fucking sense to even happen. And if it even did happen, which it did, and if it even made any type of sense, you would think with Brian Cage winning 1/3 of the six-man tag team championships for Ring of Honor at Final Battle, you would think, oh yeah, I think it's time to at least, give him some wins under his belt. Now under the AEW umbrella. No, no, not at all. Jungle Boy won this. This I understand they're trying to make Jungle Boy some, like giant killer within AEW. They're really trying to push Jungle Boy hard, and I'm not mad at that. I love Jungle Boy. I think Jungle Boy has an absolute future within this company. But when Brian Cage needs wins, and they have him lose upon lose upon lose, you're making him out to look like some kind of a jobber out there. Not a jobber, I shouldn't say that, but you're making him look like a fucking loser. Why is he losing every single time? Anytime he's in a high profile match, he loses. Anytime he's in a tournament match, he loses. Anytime he's in some kind of matchup that you actually want to see him succeed in, he fucking loses. There is no reason why he should have lost tonight. There is no reason why he should have been booked in a match tonight if all you were going to do is have him fucking lose. And that is just a cold, hard truth. I think this was a good match. I think Jungle Boy and Brian Cage they actually did pretty decent work out there. I'm not saying this match was bad by any means, but when you have somebody that just won a championship, having them lose is a really bad look. Not only on them, but the championship that they just won. And yes, I understand it's Ring of Honor. It doesn't apparently in the grand scheme of things in AEW, it doesn't mean shit, but it should matter. It definitely should matter. And that's the problem that AEW has had with Ring of Honor being presented on AEW television for the last couple of months. Nobody gives a shit about Ring of Honor, but you're trying to present it like it's something that should matter, but it doesn't because they lose. You see the disconnect here? There's definitely some kind of disconnect. And there's not it doesn't add up. There's no fit in any of this. I can't be the only one that feels this way. That there's no there's nothing that gels here together. But Jungle Boy picked up the win. I like Jungle Boy. Um, it was a roll-up victory, so you got that going. We're back from commercial break as Perry with chomps to the chest to Brian Cage. Um, he runs to the ropes and splashes onto Cage, and another splash. Perry with a clothesline, but Cage lands but Cage is still on his feet. Perry with a clothesline. Cage then lifts Perry up, and Perry hits a DDT. Jungle Boy runs towards Cage, but Cage moves out of the way and hits him with a right hand. He throws Jungle Boy across the ring and goes for a cover, but Jungle Boy kicks out. Cage goes for a suplex, but Perry then reverses it into a cover of his own, but Cage kicks out. Jungle Boy runs the ropes and Cage hits him with a clothesline. Cage then lifts Perry up and Perry reverses it into a Canadian Destroyer. Incredible stuff there. He goes for a cover, but Cage kicks out. Prince Nana gets onto the ring apron to distract Jungle Boy, but Cage then actually hits him instead with a clothesline, and Jungle Boy moves out of the way. And he pins Cage with a roll up 1, 2, 3, and that is how he got the win. So we got that going there. At Full Gear, he beat Luchasaurus and now he beat Cage. So he wants to beat the big bitch known as Big Bob. Big Bill, I should say, who was just Big Cass. If you guys don't know that, they changed his name. Out comes Stokely Hathaway. He says every time he sees Perry, he is pissed off, and if he continues to mess around, he will see two things: the bottom of Big Bill's boot and the back of his hand. Jungle Boy then gets out of the ring, and out comes Lee Moriarty with Big Bill. They beat up on Jack Perry, and they beat him in the ring. Big splashes onto Jungle Boy. Bill hits a chokeslam onto Jungle Boy in the middle of the ring. Out comes Hook. Hook is back to a very loud ovation from the crowd. He gets into the ring, and the three men leave. He extends his hand to Jungle Boy, and he helps him up. And there's some kind of alliance now between Jungle Boy and Hook. So there you go. They cut to the backstage next, and it is the Blackpool Combat Club. Moxley says that if there's any confusion with what happened with them, he will keep it simple. Last week, he said that he will make a statement, and they did. At Final Battle, two of them won championships. It's a small statement of what they can do and what they will do. Claudio says in 2023, they will put everyone on notice. If they think they are good, the BCC knows that they are better. Moxley then tells Hangman that he knows where they can find him and bring his Dark Order friends if he wants. So, looks like they're setting up some time of a 6-man tag next week. Not next week, or at least on Rampage. We then had the Elite versus the Factory. And not the Elite versus the Factory. The House of Black returned to action tonight. And they faced the Factory. And the House of Black won in very convincing fashion. QT Marshall is in the ring, and Malachi Black surrounded them by all the House of Black members. Black with the black mask onto QT Marshall, and he goes for the win. 1, 2, 3, and that is it. We went backstage. Well, first of all, before I get into the whole Britt Baker segment, House of Black looking better than ever. They're dominant. That they are definitely being presented a lot better than what they were the first time around. So I think that is going to be fantastic for them. Malachi Black definitely deserves a lot more than what he got in his first stint with AEW. Not saying first stint, he just left for a couple of weeks and now he's back. Um, House of Black is going to be a lot a lot better presented now than what they were before, and I think that's going to be a great thing. Um, they will be AEW World Trios Champions, mark my word, in 2023, and we will see a new resurgence of the House of Black next year in 2023 than what they were the first time around. And I think that's going to be a great thing. So, House of Black being dominant, you're not going to get any kind of complaint out of me. I absolutely love these three. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the trios division for AEW. Britt Baker backstage with Renee Young. Not Renee Young. Renee Paquette. Sorry, Renee. Um, she says the only thing that Sheeta is famous for is breaking her nose, but she defeated Sheeta to become the champion. And next week she will not be the AEW World Champion when Jamie Hayter defeats her when the championship is on the line. Sky Blue then comes out of nowhere and basically just challenges Britt to a match on Rampage, and she accepts. Cool, I guess. I mean, I really don't care. Britt Baker's gonna win that match anyway, so you're good to go there. Um, I don't know. It's just a random ass match on Rampage. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Um, but then we had the match between Chris Jericho and Jobber Action Andretti, but he obviously isn't a jobber now. This was absolutely incredible. Top to bottom, everything. It exceeded the 2 minutes that we all thought it was going to be because we all thought it was going to be a jobber match, but no, it definitely wasn't. And Action Andretti became all elite because of this. So, just incredible stuff to see here. From top to bottom. A kick to the side of the head by Andretti, and he clotheslines Jericho to the outside of the ring. Andretti jumps onto Jericho on the outside of the ring, and he throws Jericho back inside. Andretti then goes to the ring apron. He goes for a springboard, but Jericho catches his legs. Jericho goes for the walls, but Andretti rolls him up, and Jericho kicks out. Andretti with a drop kick. He runs the ropes, and Jericho catches him, but Andretti slams Jericho onto his head in a reversal. Andretti then hits a shooting star press out of fucking nowhere, and he got the win from a standing shooting star press on Chris Jericho. 1, 2, 3, and Action Andretti picked up the win over an 8-time world champion, a 30-year vet in Chris Jericho. Incredible stuff. Can't ask for anything better than that, and that kid was made tonight. The career of Action Andretti was made tonight. Jericho is legitimately the only person in the fucking world that can get a crowd reaction like that for a jobber match. It's an incredible thing to see. Jericho, he is just an incredible in-ring storyteller. And that's the definition about this match. The shock factor, the story of it all, everything going into this match screamed 1, 2, 3 Kid versus Razor Ramon on Monday Night Raw. Nobody expected Action Andretti to pick up the win. Nobody expected him to win. But it is because nobody expected him to get the win that made it so special. Once the 2 minutes were up, people were legitimately getting behind him to the point of them saying, all right, we need to have this kid win. We need to have this kid win. Now, obviously, this was the plan all along, but the crowd just fell for it in the palm of their hands, and Jericho got them. Jericho got them invested into Action, and they got what they wanted. out of the match. The crowd was red hot throughout the entire night, but during this match specifically, you could tell that Jericho was making the crowd want more out of Action and Andretti. When Chris Jericho was in the ring, and this is what some people really need to understand. When Chris Jericho is in the ring, he is out there for the story. He's not out there for the moves. He's not out there for the destination. He wants to tell a story within that ring. And Jericho is one of the best storytellers in the business, so you can tell when he is taking things seriously. You can tell that he was taking everything seriously when it comes to Action and Andretti because he was letting him get his shit in. They were taking their time. They were making sure things were in the right place at the right time, and you know where things were supposed to go, line by line, letter by letter, sentence by sentence. It flowed really well. Everybody got their stuff in when they needed to. Jericho was being the cocky heel. Andretti was being the babyface that everybody wanted to win. The up and coming babyface, the underdog story, the Daniel Bryan-esque story. It was just an incredible way to go about something. And now with Jericho losing, he's going to be even more pissed off next week. He's probably going to want a rematch or something of that nature. And we're going to get more behind Action Andretti or whoever they give him a matchup next week with. It's just going to be an incredible story. There's a reason why Action Andretti became All Elite tonight. And that is because the story of this kid is absolutely incredible stuff. Action Andretti, only 24 years old. The man knows what. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. You have a 24-year-old who's been working his ass off to get to a main event type of a spot, right? And while it's not a main event, to him this is because it's a 30-year vet who's done everything in this business, and this is the biggest match of his entire career. Jericho made Action Andretti's career tonight, and he's going to remember this forever. It's just an incredible story. Go search up Action Andretti if you guys haven't already. I mean, you guys obviously saw the match tonight, but go search up anything else from Action Andretti. You guys are not going to be disappointed. The guy is absolutely incredible. Just awesome stuff there. Time Mello taking on Ruby Soho. Pretty dang good match here. Um, the crowd did kind of quiet down a little bit after this, mainly because they were so invested in Action and Andretti. It kind of just dialed it down a little bit, but it was pretty cool to see. Um, Mello, she hit a chop to the chest onto Ruby, and both exchanged chops. Mello hit a pile driver on Ruby Soho. She goes for a cover, but Soho kicked out. Mello goes for the TKO, but Soho lands on her feet and knees her in the face. Soho with a destination unknown, and she got the win 1, 2, 3. So there you go. So Ruby Soho picked up the win. Anna Jay walked down to the ring after the match and attacked Soho from behind. She slammed Soho face first onto the mat, and they called attention to the broken nose, and we're good to go there. So, we cut a promo with Hangman Adam Page, as he is with the doctors. Page says that he doesn't know when he will be cleared to wrestle Moxley, but he says that he will at some point. He says in October he was knocked out, and when he came to, he unlocked his phone and saw a picture of his son but he couldn't remember his name. For an hour, he did not know. He has been to hell, and if Moxley wants to fight him on Friday, he will fight him. But if Moxley wants to take him to hell, he will take him with him. I love the redemption storyline for Hangman Adam Page. I really do. I told you guys this last week. Everything about this Hangman Adam Page storyline, when they basically wrote the concussion into the storyline between Hangman uh and Moxley. It's a redemption story. Hangman and Moxley are gonna kill it when they meet 1-on-1, and it's just going to be an incredible sight to see. You guys are not gonna want to miss it. I love the redemption storyline. You guys are not gonna want to miss a single second of this feud. Stay tuned. And then we have the main event, the AEW World Championship match, along with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Winner take all, MJF taking on Ricky Starks. And this was fantastic. I loved everything about this match. From top to bottom, this was just really good. A really good showcase for a feud that's going to be coming for the next 10 plus years. Babyface Ricky Starks, heel MJF, is going to be a money-making feud for AEW for years to come. And I said that, I've been saying that, I'm going to continue saying that because it's a God-honest truth. MJF, Ricky Starks, they are the two young pillars of this company. You guys know this, we've all known this. And it's just a great match to see anytime, any place. We love it. We love it every single time. We are back from commercial break as MJF with an abdominal stretch. MJF puts his hands on the top rope, but the referee kicks it down and starts with a hip toss. Starts with a jawbreaker and MJF in the corner. Starks with a back elbow followed by a clothesline. He then hits a tornado DDT. Starts with a sit-down powerbomb. He goes for the cover, but MJF kicks out at the count of 2. A very, very close kick out at the count of 2 at that. They really made you think something there. Starks then runs towards MJF, who is in the corner, but MJF moves out of the way and Starks slams himself into the turnbuckle. MJF climbs to the second rope and jumps onto the elbow of Starks. MJF grabs Starks, but Starks then kicks and he rolls MJF up, but MJF reverses that into a roll up, has the tights, but Starks kicks out. MJF then powerbombs Starks onto his knee. He goes for a cover, but Starks kicks out at the count of 2. He goes, MJF then slaps Starks, but Starks slaps MJF back, and both of them are just hitting right hands on each other back and forth. A poke to the eyes of by MJF. He runs the ropes, but Starks with a big boot to the face, followed by a spear. And both men are down at that point. Sorry about that. Starks then goes for a cover by reaching the arm over. And MJF reverses it into the Salt of the Earth Fujiwara armbar as Starks gets his feet on the ropes. MJF then grabs Starks by the arm and Starks reverses it into a cover, but MJF kicks out. MJF with a jackknife cover, but MJF then kicks out of that. But Starks kicks out of that. I apologize there. Starts with a super kick. He goes for a sit-down powerbomb, but MJF lands on his feet. MJF grabs the referee and pushes him away. And while he pushes him away, MJF kicks Starks low with a low blow, and he rolls up Starks for the 1, 2, 3. And that is how he is still your AEW World Champion and Dynamite Diamond Ring holder. He won by nefarious means. It's MJF. What the fuck? You think he's actually going to win clean? Of course not. It's MJF. Why would you think anything less of MJF? Seriously. MJF, I talked about it at the top. He was made for that Dynamite Diamond Ring. You're not having him lose the AEW World Championship weeks into his championship reign. They made Ricky Starks look pretty strong here in defeat. It was a low blow in a row of victory. It wasn't like he lost clean in any of this. So they were perfectly fine in the finish of that. I was very worried on how they were actually going to handle the finish of that match, but I liked it. And we will see where things go from here. Ricky Starks is going to be perfectly fine. MJF is obviously the world champ and the Dynamite Diamond Ring holder, so he is perfectly fine there. Everything kind of checked off the boxes for what I was looking for in this main event, and the fact is, it was a great main event as well. So every box was checked. They made MJF look good. They made Ricky Starks look great in defeat, and we got our next feud for MJF in the future. With Bryan Danielson, because after the match, while MJF was walking up the ramp to close off the show, Bryan Danielson shows up last second. He chases MJF around the ring, and MJF jumps the barricade to leave the arena. Danielson then gets in the ring, points to MJF and the AEW World Championship, and Danielson helps Starks get up to his feet and raises his hand as the show fades to black and goes off the air. So we're not done by a long shot with anything when it comes to MJF and Bryan Danielson. They're going to have their match pretty soon. I'm pretty sure they're going to carry that onto Revolution in March. And that is going to be an incredible pay-per-view event when it comes to MJF and Bryan Danielson in the main event of Revolution. Can't wait for that. And that is just going to be incredible to see. But yeah, that was your AEW Dynamite tonight, guys. We kept it under an hour, which is really good. Yeah, I thought AEW Dynamite tonight was very well paced. Everything bled into one another. We let things breathe, and it was just a very, very well thought out and paced episode of AEW Dynamite tonight. Winter was coming was a huge success, and I can't wait to see what happens next week in years to come. 2023 is going to be an amazing year for AEW, and I can't wait for that. You guys are not going to want to miss anything when it comes to AEW. Mark my words on that. Mark my words. Thank you guys so much for joining me on OTB tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed what you heard tonight. If you did, make sure that like button, make sure that subscribe button, turn on the bell for all notifications. That way you never miss when we go live. We will be live tomorrow to talk about all things, everything when it comes to the Mandy Rose situation, how she got fired from WWE, what she did to get fired. Did WWE know about the situations at hand? Did Mandy Rose know that she could have gotten in trouble if she continued doing what she was doing? We'll talk about it all. We will talk about it all, guys. And you guys are not going to want to miss tomorrow's episode of OTB Extra when we talk about the Mandy Rose firing on OTB. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good rest of the night. Stay safe. God bless. And peace.